Welcome to the celebration of the 10th anniversary of the Sudie A. Fulford Community Learning Center at East Georgia State College. This beautiful center, located at the main entrance to East Georgia State College, was made possible by a generous gift from Pete and Adalee Correll and the Correll Family Foundation. The center was then named in honor of Sudie A. Fulford, the mother of Adalee Correll and Beverly Johnson. Sudie A. Fulford was a long-time educator in Emanuel County, Georgia. She taught at Portal, Oak Park, Emanuel County Institute, and for many years at Swainsboro Elementary School. This center, every day for the last 10 years, has carried on Sudie Fulford's work and her legacy in educating the deserving residents of this great region of Georgia. At the time this center was established, Dr. John Black was serving as the president of East Georgia State College. Dr. Black, thank you for your outstanding leadership of this college and for your service to this community. Since the date of its establishment, there has only been one director of the Sudie A. Fulford Community Learning Center, Jean Schwabe. It was fitting that Jean be appointed as director because she too served our local schools as an educator for many years before taking on this important role. Since the day she was appointed as director, Jean has worked tirelessly to carry out the vision of Pete and Adalee Correll. Make this center the connection between Swainsboro, Emanuel County's community and this great college. Make this place one where citizens of all ages are inspired to engage in a lifetime of learning. As a result of the generous gift by Pete and Adalee Correll, this center is making that vision happen each and every day. Following the creation of this center, Pete and Adalee Correll made another generous contribution to create the Correll Scholars Program at East Georgia State College. Each year, 20 entering freshmen are chosen to receive this scholarship. Each week during their time at East Georgia State College, these Correll scholars come to this center to tutor deserving young students from our local school district as part of the Bobcat Buddies program. There are so many more examples of the learning taking place here each and every day. The annual Family Astronomy Night, Camp Invention, and the second grade visitation, during which every second grader in Emanuel County comes to visit this special place. The generosity of Pete and Adalee Correll has also inspired giving by others over the years. The generosity of Nordson Industries and the Mill Creek Foundation have contributed so much to the realization of the vision of Pete and Adalee Correll for this special place. Thank you, Pete and Adalee, for your vision, for your generosity, for your leadership. This special place created by your gift has transformed so many lives in our special community. Thank you, Pete and Adalee.
Ten years ago, this amazing Fulford Center was a gift for a very special individual.
You know, my connection to the Fulford Center goes way back before the Fulford Center existed. Miss Sudie Fulford was my fourth grade teacher.
I started teaching in 1975, and I was a sixth grade teacher, and the first day that I had an opportunity to go to Swainsboro Elementary School, I had the opportunity to meet the staff and teachers and Miss Sudie Fulford was a 4th grade teacher, just a gracious lady, just kind, just a good lady. You could feel the vibe of somebody that's a real nice person, and that's the vibe that I got from her.
Miss Sudie was retiring about the time I started. I was a teacher early on. And while I didn't have the pleasure of working with her, I knew all about Miss Sudie, and she was one of those teachers I aspired to be. I taught at Swainsboro Elementary my first year, and so I knew a lot about Miss Sudie and had such love and respect for her.
She was my 3rd grade teacher. And the story I'm about to tell you is the truth. Back before integration, there was a choice. And when my sister graduated from high school, back then there was a white school and a black school. Then the choice came, and my mom decided she was going to send me to the all-white school. Miss Fulford was my 3rd grade teacher, and she took me in, and she made a difference in my life today. I will never forget the charisma she had, but the love she had for her kids and the love we had for her.
I've always loved her. She was a great teacher, a great person to know.
And when the children began to come to school, you could see the love that she had for the children, but not only for the children, for the colleagues that worked with her every day.
She was one of those teachers who carried her heart on both her sleeves. She was just that kind of a person. But she was definitely one of her children, and that's what we were called, her children, to learn. And that was what she was about. She was totally about education and respect for each other. The one thing that she's inspired in all of us is to do the best that we can. Always do the best that we can. And she was adamant about teaching us French. She wanted to make sure that we could say our ABCs in French, and we could count to 20 in French, because we did it every single day. But that was the kind of teacher she was, persistent and the love of her kids.
Pete and Ada Lee Correll provided the center, and it was actually a gift from Pete to Ada Lee to honor the memory of Miss Sudie, her mother. Miss Sudie was a well-respected, beloved teacher here in Emmanuel County for many, many years, and she was all about giving and helping. And that's just something that was instilled in both Pete and Ada Lee by their mothers, who were very strong and compassionate women.
She would be ecstatic about this center being here because she loved children and she loved learning. And this center is a part of her legacy. And with this center being here, it allows children to have continuous learning. And not only children, but this is a center for everybody.
It just reaches not just Swainsboro and Emmanuel County, but communities around, and it brings this region and this area closer to each other, and gives us a common place to gather.
It's almost like a little retreat, you know. It's not like you're really in a business setting at all. It's just very comfortable and very at ease and at home.
Communities from all over come in and take advantage of this learning center. I've been in here when pre-K children came in from Jefferson County, or pre-Kers came in from Metter, and different activities were going on, and they genuinely love it, and they learn a lot from coming in here.
I just can't express how instrumental the Sudie Fulford Center is in what I do. I mentioned it's the home away from home, but it's not just that, it's the home away from home for a lot of folks that come there. Because you have all these beautiful buildings, you know, in our community. But like I said, it's like going to a retreat and kind of getting away, but yet you're together.
I could talk about the various programs the center offers, but and there are many of them. They do a wellness series, they do job fairs, they do SAT programs for youngsters. They have a family astronomy night, and the list just goes on and on of the various programs they offer.
They're there to help high school kids. They're there for the younger students during the summer. They're there for professional development. They're there for the planetarium, for schools, bringing people from all over. And then, you know, our seniors, we have things in place for keeping them well and healthy too.
All of these are things that I believe that she would be happy about because it allows children to keep learning and to keep growing and to keep experiencing new things.
Former president of East Georgia State College, Dr. John Black, shared these remarks. When the idea for this center started to form a little more than 12 years ago, we never imagined the impact it would have on East Georgia State College and the surrounding community. This gift from Pete and Ada Lee Correll is so much more than a beautiful building. Although it certainly is breathtaking, it is a place that has created a partnership of students and teachers in a unified community. From pre-K students to senior adults, it is a place for seeking truth and knowledge, a place that shows respect for human dignity, and a place to learn service to the community. These are values that drive our actions each and every day, values that unify us. To Pete and Ada Lee, I want to again express my gratitude for the trust you placed in this college to create this treasured place. Ada Lee, I know it meets with your mother's approval. You can feel the grace of Miss Sudie when you walk through the doors. Plus, no one leaves without learning something new. Another rule from your mother. It was my honor to serve as the president of East Georgia State College, and this gift was one of the top highlights. I will always remember the generosity, the spirit of the community, and the commitment of the individuals and groups that worked so hard to make it happen. The Correll family enabled us to plant the seed, and we are looking forward to many more years of growth. Again, although we can't celebrate in person today, it is nonetheless a great day in history of the college. Thank you, Dr. Bowman, for your continued leadership and your nurture of this valued bridge to the community at East Georgia State College.
I was amazed when I asked Jean how many visitors they have had over this 10-year span. She mentioned there were 76,000. And I did some figuring, and and I said, well, that winds up to roughly about 252 days or so a year when you take out weekends and holidays, and that comes to about 30 people a day going through the center. That's amazing to me.
Various activities are going on, whether it's outside or whether it's in the planetarium. I just enjoy, seeing young people learning.
The Fulford Planetarium has been a favorite venue for field trips over the years.
John Black, then president of East Georgia State College, asked me to serve on a committee to develop ideas on how to best utilize such a wonderful facility. From childhood, I have always been interested in space and studying the universe. As a researcher and developer at Bell Laboratories in New Jersey, I was privileged to lead design teams for AT&T's Telstar satellites. While I was in New York City, I visited the Hayden Planetarium pictured here, and I was absolutely mesmerized by what was displayed. As we began to plan for the Fulford Center, I pondered the idea of constructing a planetarium that would be scaled down from the Hayden Planetarium, which could seat 429 people, to a smaller version that could accommodate 30 to 50 persons. The idea seemed feasible, and I proposed the idea to the committee. After more exploration and discussion, the committee agreed to include a planetarium in the overall plan for the Fulford Center.
We have a small fixed dome planetarium, and I tell folks when they come that it may be small, but we're just as magical as the big guys, the big planetariums. And each year we welcome thousands and thousands of young people. And for many of them, it's their first experience with a planetarium. So it's such a joy to be a part of that.
I have a 5-year-old grandson he's 7 now. He was 5 when we visited the center. He came to Granddad's house for the first time without his parents. And so we wanted to have things for him to do. And of course, the planetarium came to our mind. So Grant, my grandson, came down, and we went to the center, and Jean had it set up. And so we just got on the floor of the planetarium, and we watched as the universe just unveiled itself. And we saw stars and space cartoon characters. We saw planets, we saw constellations and galaxies, and we had such fun. And he still talks about that now. I have another grandson who will soon be 5, and when he comes to Granddaddy's house, you bet we're going to make the planetarium a place to visit.
Our students had the opportunity to visit it on a regular basis to do some space exploration as well as some other science explorations. So we benefited all of our grades, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders.
They're like all sitting up like, wow, and looking at everything.
Most of the field trips that I have done lately are in the planetarium. We cover astronomy and different kind of things. It is a place where kids can watch videos of actual images from space and movies, the informational videos about space and our universe.
So while the planetarium is a favorite spot for a lot of young people, I knew from the very beginning when the center was built that we were going to have some amazing summer experiences. Children need to have something to do during the summer, so what better place than the Fulford Center? Over the years, we've welcomed hundreds of children to 50, I think we've had 58 camps, and it's just been truly wonderful.
There's so many camps that are given and so many opportunities, and there are grants out there for children to take it, for parents to take advantage of so that their children can continue learning during the summer.
My youngest daughter participated in the camps and loved the opportunity. But my oldest daughter also participated and got volunteer hours.
I especially like that they have the summer camps for youngsters. And I think they do that in all kind of different maths and crafts and things like that, you know, science. And so it's just an all-around neat place and for so many people to take advantage of.
We usually do 3rd through 5th with Camp Adventure. So we've had some children come through and go all the whole time, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And it's just a nice way of involving students in the summer.
Camp Adventure, we started 9 years ago, and now this summer we were to host Camp Adventure 9. And it's been so popular that we've just brought it back each year, and Marnie just does an amazing job. We've enjoyed that over the years, and Camp Invention, as I said, is a national camp, and it's a STEM-based camp. It's inspired by the National Inventors Hall of Fame, and there's a lot of inventing going on, and trust me, it is incredible what these young people come up with. So that's something that we adults enjoy just as much as the children.
I learned problem solving, leadership skills, and creativity. I get to bring out my creative self with my inventions at Camp Invention.
My grandchild has been blessed to come to these summer camps, I think, since she's been in 3rd grade. I can't tell you the number of inventions that we have at home that she has brought in. I know last year I came out at the end of one of the camps and children were all here in various classrooms. You could barely find an empty place, but children were talking, children were laughing, children were learning, and that's what I love to see take place.
I've met friends that I hadn't seen over the years, and I've made more like when they have been my partner when we make something. I want to either be a brain surgeon or a scientist.
And do you think the Fulford Center, some of these camps have helped you make that decision?
Definitely. Actually, the scientist is basically what Camp Invention is about. And some of these other science camps, they teach you, like that is where I got my passion for science from, these camps.
We have had such amazing support, certainly from East Georgia State College, but with some of our programming, and particularly with planetarium shows, those shows are very expensive. Each is several $1,000s, so we count on the kindness and generosity of grant opportunities that are out there. Mill Creek Foundation has just been a tremendous partner. They've provided numerous planetarium shows. They have also helped us with our summer camp scholarships. Nordson Corporation, every year since we started the Camp Invention, it's a very expensive camp. The tuition is over $200 per child. So Nordson has stepped in, excuse me, and has provided numerous scholarships. We have over 50 children at that summer camp each year, and that is due because of Nordson and Mill Creek Foundation. We couldn't do it without them.
We always look forward to Gene Schwabe giving us an application because they're always so worthy of Mill Creek's input and Mill Creek's help with the financing of it. And of course, Mill Creek, we've got a great board of grantors, trustees that take their job as trustees very seriously. But the Fulford Center is always at the top of our list when it comes to helping as far as Mill Creek goes.
While we have a lot of activities for the young people, we didn't want to leave out the young adults, if you will, the high school students. So we provide the SAT reviews, the ACT reviews, but many years ago we began a Fulford Youth Leadership Academy. That's one thing that Miss Sudie taught her students. I think everybody who had the pleasure and the privilege of being in her classroom, leadership.
We did not have a student leadership program in Emmanuel, and so Miss Jean and she and I began talking, and that was something that she was very passionate about, and of course I was very passionate about, and so I said, you know, I mean, I'm ready. You just tell me what you want me to do.
High school students have participated in the Fulford Leadership Academy, where 10th through 12th grade students learned about their leadership style and how to get along with others with different leadership styles.
Roughly 10 students from each of the high schools in Emmanuel County chosen, and typically it is done through the counselors and teachers, and we come together at the Fulford Center, and they spend the day with us. What is wonderful about it is you've got these 3 high schools from one county, but they all come together and we mix them up. So we're trying to get them out of their comfort zones a little bit and mix and mingle. It's been a huge success, and the evaluations from the students have been very positive. So this is something I think that we'll continue to do, and it will continue to grow, and we're working on growing some great future leaders within our community. Five years ago, we were celebrating the 5th year of the Fulford Center, and part of that celebration was the announcement of the Correll Scholars Program, another gift from Pete and Ada Lee Correll.
It's a unique program for students that have achieved, had success in their high school, and they want to further their education through college. And through Ada Lee and Pete, the Corrells have offered these scholarships to East Georgia College, and it's a way to bring some outstanding students, both in academically and in community service and things like that they have achieved, to the campus and to East Georgia, and it just broadens the horizon, I'm sure, of all those students.
Many of my students have interviewed here, and they have received this Correll scholarship. This is a $5,000 scholarship that will help them with their future and going to college.
The Correll Scholars Program has made a tremendous difference in the lives of our young college students. This program has allowed students to attend college who otherwise may not have been able to do so.
The Correll Scholarship Program, this is actually what's letting me go to school without having to take a break to work to be able to pay for school.
The Correll Scholarship has helped me so much. I knew I wanted to go to East Georgia from the very beginning, but with this program it's really helped me just kind of get a better understanding of my community, because I did grow up in Emmanuel County, and I took dance here and I went to school here, so I'm very fortunate that I can give back to my community through this program. Very thankful to the Corrells, and I know that they've done a lot for not only our community but other communities, so I'm very thankful to be a part of this organization or this program, and it's just been very, very beneficial to me.
I'm so grateful that the Correll Scholars Program has afforded me the opportunity to come here and give back to the community, but also afforded me a great education.
The opportunity here at East Georgia for these students had several components within the program. One piece involved the tutoring and mentoring piece. So that's what Miss Sudie was all about, is helping young children. And so we started the Bobcat Buddies program, and every Tuesday and Thursday, the Correll scholars, there's around 20 each year, they come to the center and provide tutoring and mentoring for these young people.
Well, it shows me how kids interact, especially nowadays. It kind of shows how to deal with children in a way. Well, I see myself a lot in the children, and it kind of helps me to figure out what kind of teaching I want to do and how to work with them and stuff. Because when I was young, you don't see that, but now I see it, and it kind of helps you learn how to work with children more.
My kid, he really looks up to me, and like if I ever miss a day, I think I've missed 2 days, and he's like, "Why weren't you here?" And I was like, "I was sick," and he's like, "Okay." So it's like, wow, I make a difference in his life more than I thought I would. I'm not just some random person anymore.
Right, I just remember when I first had my Bobcat buddy, she was really shy, and you know, she wasn't really used to me. So just going from the first day that we had Bobcat buddies to now is just like, there's such a big growth. She is able to be herself around me now, and we have like so much fun, and she's improved so much through her grades, and that makes me really happy because I feel like I'm doing a good job by her.
I've seen a great progress in the kids from being in the Correll Scholars Program. At first they were shy and they didn't really speak to me at all, but after a couple weeks they've grown to love me, and we've like created a great bond, and they've also had great progress in the work.
We have reaped the benefits. We've seen the increase in academic achievement, as well as some of our kids coming out socially. So we've reaped those benefits as well.
I'm not sure who gets the most out of that program, if it's the elementary students or if it's the Correll scholars, because it's just amazing to watch the interaction. And for most of them, it's an academic focus, but for others, it's just a big brother, big sister mentoring program. And again, I just feel that would make Miss Sudie so happy, because that's what she was about, is helping those kids who might be struggling or might need, you know, a little push or a little encouragement, and the Correll Scholars do an amazing job with that.
This is something that's going to stay with these children, not only here, but once they leave elementary school and perhaps graduate from high school, they may be encouraged to come back here simply because at a very young age they were helped by some of these students that are working with Bobcat buddies. So it is far-reaching beyond what goes on here.
The Bobcat Buddies program has been very successful, due in part, large part perhaps, to the partnership with the Emmanuel County School System. 20 students from Swainsboro Elementary are selected each year by teachers and administration to participate in the program. And then the school system buses the children to the center each Tuesday and Thursday. And so I'm just grateful to Dr. Judy and to Jansen Ware, who's the transportation director, for providing that transportation. We couldn't do the program without them. My hope is that the center continues to thrive, and that it continues to be a hub for educational programming, for personal development, and civic growth. And more importantly, when I think about the center, the children come to mind. And my hope is that the Fulford Center will continue to be a place of inspiration for these young people, and to allow them to be creative and have fun. And I guess as you look back over the 10 years, my hope is that we're just getting started.
Miss Jean is very, she's a VIP. She's the one that kind of holds the glue, or she's the glue that holds everything together. So, and having somebody that you partner with that believes in the same mission and has the same focus that you do, and of course what Miss Sudie had, I can honestly say that it is very important to Miss Jean that we adhere to the mission and the insight and the goals that Miss Sudie wanted, and she doesn't want to disappoint. And so I've kind of fallen into that same category. I want to make sure that what we're doing, that, you know, if she were to look down and see it, that she would be happy. And I think that we're able to do that.
The Fulford Center is helping to plant seeds in the young folks of our area, and I'm confident these seeds will grow and produce great results for many years to come.
A close friend of the family, Miss Susan Darling Johnson, had this to say about Miss Sudie. Miss Sudie, the mother of my good friends Ada Lee and Beverly and big brother Durwood, is foremost in my memories of growing up in Swainsboro. I often thought that she and my mother collaborated in what they told us, because when my mother would tell me never do blank or always remember this, Miss Sudie would later say the same thing to Ada Lee, Beverly, and me. Miss Sudie was always doing something for somebody else, cooking food to take to a sick friend or to a family who had lost a loved one. She often made her famous Butterfinger cookies for wedding receptions in the days when there were no caterers or friends to provide the food. She taught her daughters well. They still follow her example of giving and helping. In 1967, my physician husband was ordered to leave his internal medicine residency program to spend a year in Vietnam. We left the University of Alabama in Birmingham in July of 1967. He went to Vietnam and I went home to Swainsboro. I contacted Mr. V.E. Glenn, the principal of Swainsboro Elementary School, to see if there were any openings for the fall of that year. He immediately responded that he needed a 6th grade math teacher, which was exactly what I'd been teaching in Birmingham. He also included a list of all the teachers in the school, most of whom were my former teachers. Mr. Glenn allowed me to get into my classroom early to get things organized. I looked at the big blank bulletin board and thought I would need to do something about that, but I put it off until later. On the first day for teachers, Miss Sudie appeared with an arm full of stuff and told me that it was very important to have a colorful bulletin board and to change it on the first day of every month. She helped me put it up and I thanked her. At the end of the month, she came back with another bulletin board package. She kept me supplied with bulletin boards the whole year. I know I thanked her, but now I wonder if I thanked her enough. In between bulletin boards, she was always checking on me, reminding me to meet a deadline which I probably would have forgotten, or asking if I needed help. Miss Sudie was a second mother while I was growing up and a mentor in my early teaching career. I was not in her 4th grade class, but she was my primary teacher and mentor for handling discipline, contacting parents, keeping the dreaded attendance register, and everything that I did not learn in college about teaching.
There's so many good things that can be said about the Sudie Fulford Learning Center. I guess that I would say that as far as communities go, this is a wonderful facility. I'm glad that we have it here in our community and that we can take advantage of it. And as I said earlier, it is a legacy of Miss Fulford. She was a 4th grade teacher that I had an opportunity to work with and know her, and to see the love that she had for teaching and the love that she had for children. And I know that she would be proud of this facility and would be glad to know that even though she's no longer here, her name still stands, her legacy lives on.
Pete and Ada Lee, I'm sure Aunt Sudie is looking down at the Fulford Center today and is very proud of what she sees. Thank you again, and I hope we can all get together soon for a proper celebration.
I think what she would want to come out of this center is what is coming out of this center. The participation of children from pre-K on up. I can almost see her smiling now at what's going on, that the center, the Fulford Center, has provided for education, and of course I think it underlines the fact that education can be fun, because the times I've witnessed kids out here and been a part of that with the staff here, they have a good time and learn.
Everything we do at the center, every program, every event that we have provided and will continue to provide, I hope would bring an approving nod from Miss Sudie.
It was absolutely an honor to know her and for her to teach me and be a part of the executive board.
And I just want to thank Ada Lee and Pete Correll for this wonderful center that is doing so much in our community to make our lives better, and I appreciate it.
I could go on and on about how wonderful the community center is and all the wonderful opportunities that it has provided our community. It has been a blessing, and I'm so happy that our students have had the experiences they have through the Sudie Fulford Community Learning Center.
You know, it's just hard to believe it's been 10 years since the Fulford Center came to this community in this area, and it's just been, the word I would use is a blessing to people around, from children right on up through the adults, the entire communities and area that East Georgia State College serves and the Fulford Center serves. And it just kind of, I get real nostalgic when I think back to Miss Sudie and then Ada Lee honoring her by, and of course her husband Pete honoring Miss Sudie with this building. Is such a legacy to her, and it's just a tremendous asset to our community and to Southeast Georgia.
It has been a joy and an honor, having known Miss Sudie, an honor to work every day to continue her legacy. She was an amazing woman.